Hey, it's me Kimberly and welcome back to my channel. Today we have a very important topic that is of deep interest to me. This is the question of, is Nappy's song Hookin Me about abuse? Well, why did this start up in the first place? Because I'm sure we all know this song and we all know it's a very nice song, a very sweet song, popular, doing well in the parties, doing well on the radio. You hear it outside your car, you're seeing down to little, I swear I see like a 1.5-year-old child singing this song verbatim coming off the airplane from Tobago. You hear that panyards, you want to use this song to play for Panorama, and it has so much popularity, and it was also written by Nadia Batson, who has another popular song on the same rhythm, So Long I See You, Give Me a Wine. And so far they've been doing joint performances as much as they can, and it's very heartwarming to see the fellowship of the soca artists, two very unproblematic soca artists that we're accustomed to listening to, right? So in this article written by Marsha Hinds, who is the public relations officer of an organization in Barbados known as the National Organization of Women. She, however, believes that the song in summary portrays toxic masculinity. We'll go into more details because her ideals were actually reinforced by a local writer. So I won't say the entire article done by Marsha Hinds here. You can click the link down below and you'll be able to see the entire article, but just one paragraph that stood out to me is that she said, I think the most dangerous thing about the song is that it is not raga raga, neither is it bashment. The song is a mellow, methodical, sweet soca, but the lyrics make a mockery of a woman's right to safely negotiate the end of a relationship and to have the power of a done. So me being the socially conscious person that I am, and me also being a feminist, yes, I use the word feminist because I do believe in the equal rights of men and women, I had to take a step back. I took a step back, I listened to the song over, I watched the video over, and I concluded that, yeah, I don't agree. This idea just doesn't make any sense to me, and I can't just say that I don't agree and not give you enough reasons for it, and I can't have the whole back and forth as people have been having in the comments of these articles. So since I have the platform of a YouTube channel, I decided to put it on my YouTube channel. Important to me is that if you all agree with my ideas or if you all disagree with my ideas, you can comment down below and, you know, let me know what you think. You can share this video and say, okay, this girl real dutish because XYZ, or this girl understand what's going on because XYZ. Because I feel honestly that Marsha Hinds misused her platform, and I don't think it was intentional per se, but I think that she misinterpreted something, and that could have possibly been detrimental, considering that somebody wrote this song, a woman wrote this song, a woman manages Nappy. Nappy has a family, and who wants to be known as somebody who perpetuates toxic masculinity, right? When I was reading this article, it hurt me. It literally physically like hurt me. I felt sad. I also write songs, not at the scale of Nadia Batson and all these others, but I write songs, little songs to myself. I write songs for, you know, artists and such. And I would hate for something that I write or something that I create to be misconstrued in such a manner, which I do believe it's being misconstrued. I don't think that that was the intention of it, right? And in order for us to, we could have figured out if it was the intention of the writer by asking her, hey, did you mean XYZ? She would have said no. We could have asked Nappy, was that the intention, you know, while you were making the video? And he said no. We asked him in an interview and he said no, right? So why is it still going on? Why is the conversation still going on? And again, if you could even like look through my channel, I just make a conscious effort to avoid hurting people or resurfacing people's pain when it comes to dealing with topics. So I will call it pussyfoot. I pussyfoot around a lot of things, right? Because I don't want that I say something and it offends you or it affects your healing process negatively. So me being like that, I'm like, what the Kimberly, think about this, because if you could be singing this song or you dance this song in a party and you notice a woman on the side of you, stop dancing because it brings back flashbacks of an abusive relationship. So consider it, right? So that's what I did. And as I mentioned, I'm currently on Womantra's page, right? Womantra covered it. I'm currently on Womantra's page on Facebook, right? And I follow them for the specific reason of I love what they stand for. I love what they do. It's literally just this one topic, this one issue that I don't agree with, and it's sad because I think the person who wrote it, I know her and I love her so much. But we're not always going to agree. As long as we could come to a disagreement peaceably, then that's fine. If she wants to comment down below, then that's fine as well. But Womantra wrote the heading, but the article itself was written by Nicole G, Gowie, who I understand is a disability, sexuality and rights advocate. So this article starts off, right? Is the title of it. To all who vex with the Bajan woman who write about feminist song. She says, I vex too. The Bajan woman really did a disservice to analyzing the song. The song sounded sweet, right? Where I disagree is why you vex that this Bajan woman coming for the sweet song that you fit into. Here is what I would say. The song can be used as a weapon by someone with an abusive mindset. There are messages and patterns in the song and the video that are spot on for an abusive male. And she based her narrative on a power and control wheel, which I saw it, and it's a wonderful summary. I'll put it up on the screen right now, right? It's a wonderful summary of abuse, both hidden and overt abuse, right? So she based it on what she identified in the video and in the song, based on the items that are found on the power wheel, right? And you can have one of those aspects on the power wheel, it's still abuse. You don't have to have all, right? So I understand that and I appreciate that, right? As a child of the, you know, somebody who loves the literature and English language, I appreciated that, right? She gave us a nice argument, right? So I won't be arguing. I don't do the arguing thing. I was going to do law, but then I decided not to at the very last minute because I don't like saying my opinion, but when I feel strongly about something, I sometimes actually say my opinion, right? So in this case, I will. Right, so we'll be going line by line like how we used to do when we used to break down the Shakespeare and the Martin Carter in English class, right? Your girl did up to Form 6 English, so your girl have a little experience, right? And so the song starts off with the chorus. We all know what the chorus is, but I won't start off with the chorus because I understand enough about songwriting to know that placing the chorus first was more for rhythm purposes, not for plot or storytelling. So we'll start with the actual verse, right? He starts off, I don't know what to do, so I pleading. Plus he ain't give me no reason. You tell me this the end of the season. Mash up the thing just so, except he sings it really, you know, nice, right? I can't do that. So to me, what I see from that is that he comes home and he's confused, right? And we could use the video to parallel between, and I did an initial reaction to this video on my channel. I'll link it up here. I'll also link it down below when I did soca reaction videos, and I saw absolutely nothing wrong with it. And again, this made me have to reevaluate, like, how did I miss this? How did I miss this, right? But when you put it together with the video, and in the video he gets a phone call saying that the wife wants to talk to him. He's in the studio, whatever, working. That's his job. Same thing as a mechanic would work. It looks like lineman, but I mean, music is hard work, guys. Music is really hard work, right? So he's in his studio. He gets a call and she says, you know, come home, we have to talk, and I make something for you to eat, right? I cook. And he's like, oh good, she cooked, something had to be wrong. Alright, then he comes home and he's confused. He comes home to find that he has been put out of his shared marital home by having his stuff placed in a garbage bag. And in my video I said, I'm sure he has suitcases, because if he's the feminist character, then he does a lot of traveling. They always in some other Caribbean country. So if he's that character, then I'm sure he has suitcases that you gotta put this stuff out in. She is just being nutty by putting it out in garbage bags, right? That just indicates a woman who's done, a woman who is fed up. Right, so Nicole Gowie sees this, and using the wheel that I showed before, she sees this as denial and minimizing, right? And I'll read. Denial, acting as if he did not cause the harm in the relationship that made her want to leave, so he is not responsible. And 2, minimizing, she finally has the response to leave after whatever harm he has done, but he is making it out that it is not as bad by saying that she didn't give him a reason, right? To me, the end of the season sounds like classical falling out of love, falling out of romance, right? Which sometimes happens in relationships. I don't see anywhere in the verse that implies that he did anything wrong. And I find this a lot with feminists, is that they tend to side with women because of statistics, because we're accustomed to, oh well, the man do something wrong so he deserves to be put out. We kind of assume that it was the man's fault, but it's not always. So I can't side with the woman after not giving any evidence, when the evidence of I did nothing wrong is stated in the song. You did not give me a reason. You tell me this is the end of the season. It just sounds like a classic falling out of I just don't love you anymore. He could be a hardworking man, a loving father, and he could be, you know, really nice, and she could be the one at fault. She could be problematic, she could be guilty of something, and she just chose to put him out because she wasn't feeling it anymore, right? So I don't think that he was actually minimizing her emotions here. I think that he was rightfully and genuinely inquisitive about what's going on, and you can see throughout the song that as a theme, he is generally inquisitive, like what's going on, I don't understand what's going on. Somebody's in front of your face saying I don't know what's going on, and you don't offer them any kind of clarification, and that is supposedly justified because she is a woman and she said to leave. Yeah, that's not something that I agree with, right? But we can move on to the next line. But you don't understand when you watch me, I swear I see that I win the lottery, right? So the theme about her being a prize was actually also brought out in Miss Hinds' article, the Bajan writer, and the line that comes after where Marsha says that the woman is a trophy basically adds to that. So I'll cover that when we go down later on, right? But to me, like saying that, okay, I won the lottery when I got you, I mean, if my fiance tell me that, I'll be like, oh yeah, you did boo-boo, because it's true, right? That's a compliment, right? That is not in any kind of way, shape or form reducing that person to an object. Right, moving on. How you go pick up just so and dump me? Again, highlighting that the event had no precursor to it at all. So the end of it, if there was a victim per se, then it will be the male. And I don't have a problem with you all speaking about the song as a song of abuse per se, but if anything, it will have to be the abuse of a woman against a man, which is also very prevalent, and yeah, something that we need to discuss a lot more in this community, right? So he says, no baby no, right? So he's pleading. You don't say no baby no just so. He'll be pleading. I actually thought when I heard this song initially that he would be getting, let's call it backlash for being a soft man, you know, because people will listen to it and be like, man, if she could ever throw me out my blasted house. It's so strange to me that people looked at it and saw the exact opposite, that they didn't see a man who was being soft and who was being submissive. They saw a man who was being aggressive. That's so strange to me, because there's nothing that indicates aggression here. There's absolutely nothing that indicates aggression here. Like I can't do it. I really can't do it. Like I feel like I'm going crazy sometimes when I think about it, right? But your pa come close and a garbage bag, you put it on the ground by the roadside. Right, so the activists are saying that she mustered up strength and bravery to put his stuff outside of the house, right? And this should be acceptable because she's an abused woman, and this is her last step. This is her last show of strength. I'm going to get you out because I don't approve of you, right? To me, this seems like a power play in a relationship. She ended the relationship precisely on her terms, right? In a situation where he had no opportunity to respond per se, and even if he was attempting to respond, it would have been seen as some sort of aggression, right? In terms of the whole packing process, if it was done while he was there, it would have been a conversation of why are you doing this, what's going on, while the packing happening, right? And I think I would have got half an hour to an hour or something to happen, right? So she did it there. And I can see that some women will do that in order to escape confrontation, but some women will do that in order to escape communication. So because she didn't feel comfortable talking to him doesn't mean that she is scared of him. It could just mean that she's probably at fault, or she doesn't have a logical explanation for it. It's just an emotional feeling of, you know, I just don't feel the same way about you anymore, and or you know, you don't do the same things to me that you used to do before, so I just don't feel it anymore and I don't want you around. So they used the video to basically parallel this, right? And they said that he took a long time to get outside. He eventually did, but it took a long time to get outside, right? To me, I see that any delay that he took to get to the door itself was actually him trying to understand, him being confused, and him eating, because I mean, again, power play, like, you know, she cook a meal and it's like, this is what you're gonna be missing when you leave. Come on, that is classic power dynamics in relationships. So in that case, again, my main point is that she needed to communicate effectively. She needed to communicate full stop, even if it wasn't effectively, to give him something to make him feel comfortable enough to leave, because this isn't a boyfriend girlfriend situation. This is obviously a shared marital home. It's obviously involving children. And if it is that she actually did feel uncomfortable to present the argument towards him, then why do something as affronting as putting all of his things outside without his knowledge, which can be seen as a provocation, right? And provocation, intentional provocation, is never good. So she is seen as she's obviously the aggressor and the manipulator in the situation, and the man is just confused. Shouldn't the actual conversation to be had about poor communication in Caribbean relationships, or about power dynamics in Caribbean relationships, and dated back to the fact that we had unstable family structures, secondary to slavery, secondary to poverty, etc., 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 I would really crap out of that article and I would be like, yeah, that makes sense. And you can use other soca songs in order to add that. Calypso, oh Jesus Christ, Calypso songs is a main theme. Power dynamics is a main theme in Calypso songs. Yeah, y'all could have done that. I would have read that article through and through. You would have gotten your shares, you would have gotten your likes, you would have gotten whatever popularity you were searching for, and it would have made sense, right? Because the other approach did not make too much sense. Reading. You tell me, get out your place, don't come inside. Again, power dynamics, right? So who really owns a home that is shared in a marriage? The man, because he making all the money and she just home. But we say the woman, because if it wasn't for her support, he wouldn't have accomplished all of that. He might have spent all the money on rum, I don't know, spending all the money on women, I don't know, and he wouldn't have the ability to build up a house that big, right? So again, as a power struggle in relationships at all times, right? Legally, you share it half and half legally, so you can't put an individual outside the house just so. If it is to de-escalate an abusive or aggressive situation, alright, sure, cool, somebody step aside. Other than that, if it is a normal situation, then somebody could sleep on the couch, somebody could sleep in the next room, somebody could go by the mother and stay for the night. It don't have to be a whole, okay, I'll put you out kind of situation, right? At this point in time, I'll bring up the idea of symbolic aggression, right, which Nicole Gowie brought up. And this, like, these phrases sound so nice, like toxic masculinity, symbolic aggression, they all sound so nice. It's like as soon as you learn them, you just feel like using them, like you just be itching to use them as much as you can. Like I'm gonna be using the word symbolic aggression all the time. It's a nice phrase, right? It sounds good. So in the sequence from 105 to 110 in the video, he is seen standing up at full height. I'll just put in pictures. He's seen standing up at full height and confronting her with a knife in hand. At 205, he's seen invading her body space. Many abusers can use certain looks, gestures, or facial signals to invade body space to threaten and intimidate without actually resorting to physical violence, which I totally 100% agree with. Abusers do that all the time, and a lot of people are abused in public. Okay, when you think about abuse, think about what your mother used to do to you in public, and you're getting one for something, and she come twist your ear and she say, I will beat your tail when you reach home. Quiet in your ears. That's symbolic aggression, because she using her power over you, and knowing that you're in a public situation and you won't retaliate. So basically, they are implying that knowing that he is a bigger person in size, she's not going to retaliate when he comes closer to her, or when he does something like wave the knife while he's singing in the song, right, which he does in the video, which he addressed. He just said that, okay, well, I just have bad table manners, it wasn't to threaten you any kind of way, right? So I think that in this case, the proximity only happened because they are a couple and they are familiar with each other. So proximity is because of familiarity. and not because of intimidation, right? And again, this is a non-violent situation, like nobody ain't cussing, nobody ain't as far as bad talking anybody in the situation as yet. So in a non-violent situation, approaching the loved one as you normally approach them is not an unlikely occurrence, right? And when it comes to if somebody picked up the fact that he's, you know, waving the knife while he's singing the song to her while eating, again with the whole power play with her actually making the food, he's having the conversation and eating. He can't put his full focus on the conversation while he's eating, right? And in the song, we don't have, and especially in music videos, I don't think that they have scene managers like they would have in movies to pick up these little subtle things. But it was just a little subtle error, I guess, that could be blown out of proportion if it is that the background of it gave any kind of indication that it was a hostile situation, which it did not. The background stated that it was calm, we talking, we eating, you know, you want me to leave, you make the food for me, we eating, we sitting down, and talking to you while I eating. It wasn't an intimidation effort, right? If it was that there are several other things that a man could do with a knife to highlight disapproval, so why would he resort to just waving it around just a little bit while he's talking, or using it? And oh, come on, we're Caribbean, we all know that we talk with our hands. Like, I have this phone in my hand and I just seriously just want to use my hands and talk like right through, and I know distracting, but that's just how we talk, right? And it's based on oral tradition, especially among the African slaves, because as a form of entertainment, we would talk to each other. We had to be very expressive because we didn't have very much in life. So you get this whole thing of, you know, we use whatever object around us, and we laughing, and we run away from each other when we're laughing, or we hitting each other when we're laughing. And that's just a part of being Caribbean, you know. That's a part of the history. So him using his hands in that manner is, to me, is just literally a part of the history, a part of who we are as people. It's just a cultural aspect. And if you're from Trinidad or you're from Barbados, you would know that. Moving on. Baby, don't make that, you go break my heart. Right, okay. Abusive men beg too. I get it. Abusive men beg as well. But men who are sorry also beg and apologize. Are we thinking about that? It's like, oh well, he's abusive because he's apologizing when he has no other choice. Men who are sorry also apologize. Sometimes men are sorry because they have feelings too. They are capable of emotions. They are capable of healing as human beings, as much as we like to downcast them and say that they're not worth much. A lot of them put a lot of effort towards improvement and successfully gain that improvement. So yeah, that's just that, right? And again, I don't have any implication of guilt to go on in this song or this video whatsoever. Next line. Can't believe you're ready to give up on we just so, right? So Nicole Gowie says, guilt trip. He tries to make her feel guilty for how she chooses to put an end to whatever harm or hurt he may have caused, which she is obviously speculating, because it was not said or stated or implied that he was guilty of anything. Okay, I don't know if people, if like when they were thinking about the analysis of this, if they thought somebody was dotish just because they write soca songs. You know, like a lot of academics just assume that people in creative arts are stupid, which unfortunately was one of the driving forces for me to become a doctor and not an actress. But I mean, because I can act the hell out of a scene, but I didn't want nobody watching me thinking I was dotish, which I realized was happening. So, alright, no, Nadia Batson is not a fool, right? When she wrote the lyrics, if she really wanted to imply that he was guilty for something, she would have just added it in the song. She would have said, I know you're fed up by the cheating, the licks and the beating, or something like that, right? And the song would have still be same sweet, and she would have get the idea wrong. Then the man is a bad man and trying to win back the woman. But she didn't say that because she didn't mean it, because it wasn't supposed to be taken like that at all. Like, if it was that she felt like that in the song, she felt that lyric in her heart to write it, she would have wrote it down, but she didn't. So where you all getting that guilt from? Where are you all getting that guilt from? That is just assumptions. Next lines, okay. Because if you want me to go, oh, you can't be looking the way you do. You can't be looking the way you do. You can't be looking, man. If you want me to go, oh, you can't be looking the way you do. You can't be walking the way you do. Because you're hooking me, right? So Nicole Gowie sees this as blaming, right? Subtly blaming her for ending the relationship by saying, if she was not such a good woman, he would not want to stay, and saying she hooking him and not acknowledging that would end the relationship. Okay, what? Can I not read? Subtly blaming her for ending the relationship by saying if she was not such a good woman, he would not want to stay, and not acknowledging that end of the relationship is because of the harm he has done. Oh, and not acknowledging that the end of the relationship was the harm that we assuming that he has done, right? I see it as an attempt to comfort her and remind her of his attraction to her, maybe in order to uproot feelings, or for him to make her remember that, hey, we are in love, and whatever transient feeling you're experiencing is just transient and it's not worth all of this hullabaloo. I think it also further emphasizes his hurt in the relationship because he is hooked and she is quite obviously untethered because if it was that they felt a mutual companionship or mutual need for each other, then she would have not gone about it in that situation. So he is even more hurt that I am so attached, you are so detached. So he's using whatever last ditch attempt he can muster to get her back on his side. So he is appealing to emotions, which I understand abusers do that all of the time, but abusers do that under the context of abuse. We can't use something that abusers do under the context of abuse and have an issue with it. No, right? So in that case, from what I can see, what I'm reading here is that even though that these similar traits of this are seen as abuse, this is just basically a man telling his wife, I like you, you look nice, you cook nice, what you want me to do? What, after you leave me, I will have nothing else in my life. You know, like to kind of butter her up. I admire you, I appreciate you, which aren't bad things. Every woman wants her man to tell her that some point in time. So in a situation that would have more resembled abuse, I definitely would have changed my tongue and say that he should have picked up and go. Don't tell she nothing. Does she nothing at all, right? But in a total non-hostile situation where the opportunity for a civilized conversation is there, then fine. Moving on, no matter what I say, you ain't hearing, you say the love disappearing. Again, just implying disenchantment on her end. So I don't know if the writers or the commenters of this believe that every single time that you feel less in love or not head over heels with your spouse that you should leave them without explanation. Then that will just mean that the divorce rate will just whoop skyrocket, because sometimes you feel like that. You're bound to feel like that, right? And then again, it doesn't have to be anybody's fault. Sometimes that's just life, that's just how the cookie crumbles, that's just how things go, right? So if it is that she was making a rash decision that would cause permanent consequences for both her and the children, him addressing it in communication, in conversation, I don't see much of a problem with it, right? All the throw and cover declaring, right? Right, so at this point in time, personally me, I would have left this alone and reconvened at a later date when she was calm. But again, we paralleling with the music video. She at no point in time looked aggressive or agitated. She was calm in the music video, right? And again, I think the details are coming out in this song in the way that it is, because the song was meant to cover 4 minutes and how much seconds, right? It's a song. It could literally be one verse and then it ends with him being outside, but the same themes or ideas are going to circle back around because it's a song, and that's how music works. Like if you really think that Justin Bieber was like baby baby baby, oh like baby 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 so much times, no, he was like that once. So it's a song, so the chorus have to come back around, right? So I think that that's where the time or the lag between I want you out and okay I go in happened, because it's a song, because that's how music works, right? That's how music works. Alright, as far as we know, the conversation was, you want me out, you didn't tell me why, give me a reason why. The woman was like, I don't have to give you a reason why. Let me finish eat. Alright, I'm gone. I'm going to sit down outside, wait for somebody to pick me up, because he tried to go to school in the morning and I wanted to have the car to drop them to school. He said I'm on the curb outside. Literally could have been that. Oh yeah. Right. So you see, it goes on to say mash up the thing just so. when I meet you, Marshall tell me, hey ha, that is a trophy, right? Ah yes, the Marshall cameo. The Marshall cameo, right? So if I had to dig into the deep recesses of my extreme feminist brain, I would think trophy wife, you know, minimizing her as a human being, putting her up on a pedestal, only appreciating her for her looks or femininity, etc., right? If I had to dig really deep. But again, we spoke about this before when he said that he won the lottery when he got her. A trophy is something that you earn a lot of times painstakingly, something that you alone have because you earned it well, something that is difficult to attain. What else? Something that is you show off when you get it because you like that you get it because you work hard, and that could easily be a human being because in relationships it's hard work. So if it is that you attain somebody, and How I Met Your Mother, right? That show, I used to really like that show, right? That show used to have like the most ridiculous themes in it. One of which I always remember is that they say that every relationship has what is it? Like, okay, basically I can't remember the phrase, but they said that basically every relationship has somebody who is too good for the other person and the person who is, you know, not as good for them. So I like a reacher, somebody who reaches out to that person, and then somebody who downgrades to be with that person. I don't agree with it per se, but this song basically implies that she's the one who downgraded to be with him and he's the one who reached in order to attain her. Being aware of that if it happens, I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. But in some situations there are people like that, there are relationships like that where the dynamic is upset like that, and to me that's fine, that should be okay. So basically with that line, with her being a trophy, or with her winning the lottery, I don't see any evidence of like toxic masculinity from it. What I see is, again, a compliment and over exaggeration, a hyperbole, which we will expect in music. Okay, we're moving on. Oh god, oh my god, that's like, so you throw away the thing. So if you throw away the thing, it will hurt me. No, baby, no. But your back on my clothes and I can't bet your back. Right? So you know that, etc., etc., etc. You just so cook any way you do. Alright, moving on to the bridge, right? You done hook me already. Could it be your cute, pretty face? Could it be the oil in your waist? So this is again buttering her up, complimenting her. Maybe he figured out somewhere along the way was that an issue of her lacking romantic attention, so he made strides towards amending that immediately. I personally, I would have give up and leave long time, but again, relationship rules, right? In a relationship we have the phrase happy wife, happy life, right? Then they change it and say, well, happy spouse, happy house, because both men and women are supposed to be happy. Yet a lot of men are in constant servitude of women emotionally. He is playing his role that society puts on him to fix it by complimenting her and making sure that she is okay, right? He would never incorporate himself or his feelings in this, so it'll always be the focus on her, right? So it's your cute pretty face, it's how you look, and it's how you move and all that stuff, right? It's because of you that I feel like this, and I appreciate. Okay. So the song basically and again the song basically has the same theme being expressed in a different way just because it's a song. I don't think that he stood there giving her 50 paragraphs about why he doesn't want to leave. I think that it's because it's a song, it just has to go on, so it went on, right? Moving on, make me feel like I had a chase here, hook me already, right? And she's putting with this phrase, he's putting all of the power in her hands, right? Make me feel like I have to chase you, because again, it's the power that she craves, it's a power dynamic that she did create. So he realized that, okay, that's done, right? Classical in relationships, not in healthy relationships, but it's done all of the time and people survive. So like, who are we really to comment? That's the thing about relationships too, when they comment on other people's thing. I had a friend, right? They break up with somebody and they bad talking the person they break up with you, and it's like, yeah, he was really like that in truth, and XYZ was wrong with him. And then they end up back with the person and they whispering to the significant other, you know, Kimberly said that you were so and so and so and so, and now that person don't like you. Because there are a couple there, and people have the understandings, people have their own situations going on, right? can't really comment on everything. We don't know the subtext, we don't know the history, we don't know the past, we don't know the intentions of the future. So like, you know, what's really trying to say with some people's business like that and stuff like that, right? Okay, so moving on, he says, girl, you're smart enough to spend, where you take care of the children, this should never end. This is my favorite line. This is my favorite line because it's one of the most contentious lines, right? Nicole Gowie says, this is indicating domestic slavery. Again, on the wheel. He is extolling her domestic role, but he doesn't take responsibility to do his fair share. He is only talking about what she does and not what he does. Of course, he doesn't want the arrangement to end. Or what he does, is my opinion now, my opinion. You'll notice the difference between when I read people's opinions and my opinion, because my opinion makes sense, right? Wow, that's bad, Kimberly. Alright, so my opinion now is that what he does doesn't matter, because it's not about him, it's about her now. And that's how you should need to approach any conversation with an injured party. The injured party takes priority. So she's taking priority now. This topic is about her. We're not talking about what I do. So if you have to jump out and say, oh, I just work so hard every day for you and the children, I don't sleep any night, I just so and so, and they go still leave me, that is aggression. That is toxic masculinity. That is abuse. Him complimenting and saying, girl, you're smart enough to spend the way you take care of the children, this should never end. That I did not get domestic slavery from that. What I got from that was domestic pride. A lot of feminists don't want to hear this. They claim that they're okay with it, but some women love their role in the house. That is their pinnacle of achievement. They love it and they would have it no other way. So therefore it's a source of pride for them. So cooking, cleaning, caretaking, etc. is a source of pride. It makes them happy. It's an accomplishment, it's an achievement for them. Having people that they care about notice how well they do in that. It's akin to me on work and somebody is like, you did that very well, you approached that situation very well, you did that XYZ well. I will say thank you and I will feel good. In the same way, having your husband say, you do a good job with XYZ in the house, it doesn't mean that he's trying to diminish you. And I don't think any housewife would agree that it feels like that is their dream. That is their dream. If you have a woman who is your wife and she doesn't work outside, she's not gonna get a lot of compliments. You know, you have to be the source of that. So you have to compliment her. The food tastes good today. You know, well, to say today, because then she'll be like, oh, well, that tastes every other day. Like, the food tastes good. You know, you take care of the children so good, they're always clean, the clothes always, you know, shirt always white and always iron nice, and appreciate your XYZ. Why is that an issue? Why is that an issue now? Because we want to imply that the woman does not want to be glorified for her domestic role. A lot of them do. I would love to be glorified for my domestic role. I would make a wonderful housewife. I just unfortunately have a job. Right? I would make a great housewife. But that's just not how my life is going to pan out to be. But if I was going to be a housewife, I would appreciate it. And I would feel the exact same way. I would feel pride in it, right?